there's also been, well, some fascinating transfer news culminating in this bombshell by Cristiano Ronaldo, Cass. Now, of course, we'll talk more about this in detail because it is huge news, but not the news that Manchester United fans will be waking up to this morning to hear that he wants out.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed for a player that's achieved so much in the game, signed a 2-year deal at the twilight of his career and going back to a club that he had so much success at. And then quite quickly, things have changed. And okay, look, Ronaldo as a player has always... He's had an ego that a lot of it's about him, but teams have been successful. So you always go with that as a team player. You're like, yeah, great. He scores all his goals. He gets the accolades. And he's one of the greatest that's ever played the game. You can have all that. And that's fine, as long as you're winning. Well, when you don't win, now you've got a problem. Yeah. Because if he's... I mean, I said to you off air now, I'm a bit suspicious because he's got 141 goals in the Champions League. Lionel Messi's got 126. He doesn't want to not play Champions League football because he wants to, be the greatest Champions League goal scorer of all time. And that's how Ronaldo's made. But this feels... he owes them. It's not like he's been brought back and he's going to be the Messiah. I think he owes them a bit because they took him back to a football club that he had so much success at. And it's going to be a difficult year. But don't think of your own accolades this season. Think about, I'll still try and get goals. I'll still try and do my best. But for the team as well and the club.
I think that is what reports are suggesting, that doesn't want to play in the Europa League. He never played in the Europa League. Obviously, he's a player that's constantly been in the top elite competitions. And that is the big reason as to why he doesn't want to remain at Manchester United. He wants to be playing in the Champions League after Manchester United finished 6th last season. And you mentioned it there about his ego, and that ego has brought success. Of course, it has to many teams. But that's always been the debate, hasn't it, as well, between when you're talking about who is the greatest, who is the GOAT, when it comes down to Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. And a lot of that debate comes down to he is an individual, Ronaldo. It's all about him, whereas Messi isn't so much. He's more of a team player. That's where it's always come down to. And in this situation, unfortunately, it's coming to the fore where people are thinking, when they need you now in this rebuild, in this transformation of Manchester United under Erik ten Hag, it has come down to you once again.
Yeah, I do feel there's and maybe it's a little bit unfair on Ronaldo. I do feel that Lionel Messi's got that individual ability, but again, he's played into teams that have continually won, and they have been better teams, in my opinion. Barcelona, when he was at his very best, yes, he was the main man, but it was slightly more, Iniesta, Xavi, and a number of others that were superb. Just disappointed now. It's a really weird one because I've always said, and I say this a lot, there's players I look at the game and I think you need to be playing Champions League, right? I.e. Declan Rice. Okay, you're a Champions League player and you're not in the Champions League. And I've always said that they should be playing that level. But he's played that nearly all his career. And I just feel sometimes you need to give something back, and it's just not about your own achievements in the game. And that's where I have a little bit of disappointment. Look, he's been an incredible talent. And sometimes you have players, Nat, that are, when they're the best at your club, and they're the first on your team sheet because what they do makes them first on the team sheet. But when it isn't happening, they can be your first one out the door.
Yeah. Is that also, just to sort of wrap this up before we sort of talk about other things, because we will talk more about this in detail, is it also a source of frustration, perhaps knowing that, and I'm not 100% sure, I would have thought Man United are back in training, if not imminently back in training. Is it a source of frustration that there's Erik ten Hag thinking, wow, this is what you hit me with before we've really got going?
Yes, I think Ten Hag would think that. And it's not, for someone so successful and as meant to be the ultimate professional, sometimes they do professional things, or I would say that affect the club, and it isn't that professional because, it affects the club and makes it difficult for the manager, makes it difficult for his teammates. He has some issues off the field as well, Nat, that's documented. It doesn't seem the biggest problem. He's had a place that he wants to turn into in Manchester City Centre, into a hotel. There's been issues with the council, and he might just think, I want to get out of here. I'd like to see him see it out. I'd like to see him do this season and go, I'm doing my second year, and yes, we're not in the Champions League, but I'll do whatever I can to be in the Champions League the year after if I signed another 1-year deal at Man United. So I think there has to be a time in your career you just don't think about what you can do.
The Sunday Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.